This is Abby Johnson with Webber News coming to you from Blog World in Los Angeles. I'm joined right now by Jay Baer, the president of Convince and Convert. How are you this morning?
I am marvelous. Abby, how are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
You're very welcome. I want to talk to you about a couple things. First of all, you recently did a study on the timing of posts on social media with Argyle Social that really produced some really interesting results, especially regarding B2B and B2C. So can you talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, we took a little different tack on social research. We actually used the scientific method and put together hypotheses and said, is there a best day to tweet for B2B or B2C? Is there a best time to tweet? Is there a best window to do Facebook versus Twitter, as opposed to just sort of mining the data and seeing what bubbles up, which is what a lot of social research has been founded upon. We really did it the official way, where we said, okay, let's prove ourselves wrong. And if we can't prove ourselves wrong, then it must be right. And so for B2B in particular, we found that there's actually no best time or best day to tweet during the business week. So Monday through Friday, it really does not matter. There's really no particular best practice. And sometimes that's what's great about science. Sometimes the best answer is no answer at all. We crave the mathematical shortcut, right? We crave the little statistical bon mot that we can throw around and say, oh, Wednesday's at 2 o'clock. But a lot of times that's just BS. And so we were actually happy to find that in that particular case, there is no sort of best practice. The one thing we did find that was pretty interesting, though, that's gotten picked up is that for B2C companies in particular, on Facebook, there's quite a bit higher customer engagement on Sundays as compared to the average. And so when you compare that to when companies typically participate in Facebook, it's almost never on Sundays. And so there really is an opportunity there, sort of a delta there, for companies on the B2C side in particular to do more on Facebook on Sundays than they are so far.
People are too busy enjoying their weekend.
Right. Well, I mean, I think what happens is that it's funny you say that, right? Because we also tested day parts on weekends. What we found is that on Facebook in particular, mornings, terrible. Terrible, because everybody's like hungover or having brunch or like, at church maybe, whatever, going to kids' soccer games, right? So there really isn't a lot of engagement early mornings on Facebook for businesses, but later in the day, especially on Sunday, there is an opportunity there, which we thought was pretty interesting. But of course, it's like 90%, I can't remember the exact number, but it's approximately 90%. Don't quote me on this. Read the study and you can quote yourself. Approximately 90% of business status updates on Facebook are during the week, right? Monday through Friday, because we tend to look at social media through the prism of corporate convenience, not through the prism of customer convenience. And that's a huge problem that needs to get solved.
Well, this whole idea of tying science to social media, that's really fascinating in and of itself, because, social started out just as this fun thing that everybody just played around with, and now businesses are incorporating it, and now there's a science to it. So talk a little bit about that impact as well.
Well, anytime there's real money at stake, science gets added to the equation, and we're at that point clearly in social media. The new Forrester research shows that social media expenditures in the U.S. is projected to grow, 26% year over year for the next 5 years. That's, we're talking about billions of dollars now, billions of dollars. So, that you start to say, hey, is there a better way to do this? And what's funny though is I've been in online marketing since 1994. And I kind of feel like I've seen this movie before, right? Because we, at one point, SEO was kind of fun and neat and different and cool. And we said, let's apply science to that. And email was fun and neat and different and cool. Then we applied science to email. And so everything starts out as experimental. And then it's like, hey, wait a second, this is pretty important. Maybe we should try and do this better. Maybe we should optimize this instead of just, firing bullets off into the air, hoping that birds fly by simultaneously, which is how we've done social for the better part of the last 3 years.
Absolutely. Well, you're also very adamant on the issue of measuring social media and the fact that it should focus on quality instead of just quantity, which that's a little bit contradictory when we're talking about this science thing. So how does that all work?
Yeah, we actually talk about that a lot in our book, The Now Revolution. There's a whole section in there about social media success metrics and how to identify whether social media is working for your company. And I think as a general rule, you want to measure behavior, not aggregation. So if the statistics that you're looking at your company are counting up, so 5, 20, 100, 6,000, 2 million, that's usually not a very good metric. What you want to measure are percentages and behaviors and differences over time, because that usually focuses on, did somebody actually click something? Did somebody actually fill out a lead form? Did somebody actually buy something? Those are typically more valuable metrics over time, and I think it's a good rule of thumb to say, look, if you're counting number of likes, for example, you're probably fooling yourself mathematically.
Okay, we also want to get into thought leadership a little bit as well. Seems like in social media that everybody wants to be, Jay Baer, Jason Falls, Amber Naslund, all of these,
crazy.
all these people. But that's not really the way it should be, right? Or should they be? Like that's sort of a controversial issue right now. Everybody wants somebody to follow, but then on the other hand, social media is all about individuality too. So how do you find that balance?
It's a really interesting question, and it's actually one that we're exploring today at my session here at Blog World. I'm doing a session with Joe Palizzi from the Content Marketing Institute called How Far Do You Open the Kimono? And the premise is, everybody wants to write a blog, everybody wants to do thought leadership, everybody wants to do content and give it away in podcasts and videos like this. But ultimately, when you do all that, are you giving away your secret sauce, especially in a professional services consulting environment, by telling everybody what you know in blog format? Do you actually cannibalize your ability to monetize what you know? And so that's what we're going to explore in this session, and Joe and I are actually wearing kimonos for our presentation, so you can look forward to that. It's going to be good. I hope it's not drafty in that room. And we're looking at 6 different case studies of different companies who are either really, really, really wide open and doing content all the time, and then on the other side aren't doing any content at all, and talking about the pros and cons of that. Because the answer, Abby, is that it depends, right? It depends. It depends on your company. And the nice thing, though, is it's testable, and that's what we'll talk about today. Is that you can take a piece of content, something that you know, and you can test whether it makes more sense for your business to give that away, to put it behind a lead form, to not talk about it at all. You can actually create an experiment and determine what impact that has on your business success, and frankly, that's the right way to do it. In terms of following me or Jason Falls or Amber or any of the other hundreds or millions of social media consultants out there, there are a lot of people talking about social media, and I am genuinely thrilled anytime somebody reads my blog or tweets my stuff. I realize how precious people's time is, and it really means a lot to me that a number of people spend time with my stuff every day. But at the end of the day, you can't follow my advice. You have to create your own path for your own company based on your own circumstances and your own strengths and your own reality. Only average people care about averages, and sometimes I feel like in this desire to create best practices and to create case studies and to create the right answer, we mute our own ability to figure out the right answer for you.
Right. Absolutely. Fascinating topic and definitely worth exploring. So Jay, thank you so much for talking.
My pleasure to be here. Enjoy Blog World.
You too. Great. Thank you so much. This is Abby Johnson reporting from Blog World for WebPro News.